7.
This is the play-action pass, and just completely, as you can see, the ball just slips out of his hand, and they intercept right there.
So they'll get the last crack at it, but I think they were pretty much content to go into overtime and take their chances.
At this point in time, I'm sure Coach Bohannon was thinking overtime, as he did not use any of his timeouts, and we had already used our timeouts. And the thing about overtime games is that you can carry your unused timeouts into overtime, and which is kind of a little bit unfair, as he had 4 timeouts in a 5-minute overtime period.
Well, we were wondering about that late in the game. I'm glad you cleared that up, because we didn't know how many they had. And one of the fans, several of the fans in the stands were screaming back up at us, wanting to know, and we were unsure because they called about 2 or 3 right there in a row in the final few minutes of that last overtime, trying to, of course, to stop the clock and set up some big plays.
Julian Blackman on the sack right there, Mike. Big play, got them pinned back up, and I think now they're content to run the clock out as well. Derwin Brewer came up playing corner position there a little bit, makes a nice hit.
And time expires in regulation, and as you can see, it's tied 6-6, and of course the coaching staffs, the athletic people from both schools get together with the officials, and there's Coach Jack Rogers, athletic director for Lagrange High School. Jack on the field.
Jack was really mad he had to come out there and get his shoes muddy, Mike.
And he's carrying those pylons. And now let's explain the overtime, Coach. You play, I believe, 2 5-minute overtime periods.
Play 2 5-minute halves. It's like a new ball game. You flip a coin. The same decisions are made as who's going to receive and kick off. And after the first 5 minutes, it's like second half comes up. Same decisions made at a second half kickoff. Each team is given 1 timeout per 5-minute half. It was Griffin won the toss, and telling us to receive the ball.
And you'll see right off the bat, it was probably a wise decision on their part at this time, because they put us, not only did we have to receive it, but we're also at the south end of the stadium, which is the worst end as far as footing is concerned, and the rains are still coming down. And let's keep in mind, Troop played the night before, and that churned it up even worse. So you can imagine the field conditions. But you can see right here on the kickoff return, we fumble it, but he was down, and the ground cannot cause a fumble. Of course, They hold us on these 3 plays, and we have to punt, and you'll see the mistake that we made. And your strategy, I guess, at this point, Coach, as a coaching staff, just really basically do what you've been doing.
Do not change anything. Penetration now will win the ball game. The team that moves the ball the furthest penetration into the other team's territory will win the ball game. And right now, as a rule stands, we're winning because we're in possession and we've penetrated further than Griffin has. So at the end of overtime, if nobody has scored, the person who penetrates the farthest will be awarded 1 point.
And I got an interesting comment about that in just a few minutes. You can see here, we have the ball again, and we run a little reverse with the wing back around the right side, and Derwin again just
tremendous
really
effort.
Keeps his feet well. He really does.
Tremendous effort running the football with big guys throwing their bodies at him, and he's able to maintain his balance.
And here's the 4th down play, and you'll see the Julian's unable to handle the snap from center, and you really can't fault anybody in this type of weather, but he's handled it so well all night long. And then they mishandle one, and then we mishandle one here, and really gets us in a bad situation, as it gives them great penetration.
Mishandle it, and they make the tackle right there. So at this point in time, they're winning the ball game because of their possession. And they'll gain a yard or 2 from here before we're able to stop them.
And they get 3 or 4 there. And an interesting thing when you were talking about the overtime, Coach. We were leading 12-6, and they still had time on the clock. Somebody said, well, what happens if they score? Had they scored because they had penetrated our 20-yard line, I believe they would have won the football game, is my understanding.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm not real sure. I think it's got, once somebody scores and you score again to tie it up, I think it may have to go to, it may revert back to penetration. I'm not sure that they have to start over on penetration.
That was a big, big play from the backside. I believe that was
Brian Truitt.
Brian Truitt.
On the hit from the backside, causing the fumble, and we recover it. But Griffin's penetration was to the 20-yard line, So that is where we have to get to. We have to get to, well, inside the 20-yard line in order for us to win the game. And that was our thoughts right now.
And this is still in the first overtime with the second one to follow. And as you said, Griffin has got us down right now. They've penetrated our 20, so it's important that we try to move this football and get downfield. And of course, once you end the first overtime, you start the second overtime just like you starting another half.
A second half, right.
So moving the ball here is important, but we need to get it down deep because we start over again in the second overtime. This is really sort of wiped out unless we can penetrate.
That's right. It's not like a quarter where you still maintain possession of the ball. It is a half, and you have to come back and flip, or not flip a coin, but go through the decision-making process again.
And you can see we're still moving toward that north goal, and we do the entire time in this overtime period.
Durham Brewer on the sweep.
Never brought him down.
Never came down. Tell you, it's amazing how the youngsters can concentrate in those kind of conditions with the pressure of a region championship game and the way they handle themselves. So I'm just extremely proud of our players especially, but not only ours. I'm proud of the way the Griffin people played, and I really hate to see us tear up a beautiful stadium, a beautiful field like Callaway Stadium. It kind of makes you a little bit sick to know that you're just chewing it up that bad, and we got to go back and play on it Friday night. But it couldn't be helped.
Well, and really there's a lot of places that this could have been played. It would have been a lot worse than Callaway Stadium. I think Callaway Stadium held up extremely well under the conditions. Having had 2 ball games played there, Friday and Saturday night, I thought it held up extremely well, Coach, and really was in pretty good playing shape.
It was in excellent condition considering. 2 days of rain and 2 ball games within 48 hours and 48 hours of rain, and that's just, you just couldn't expect it to be any better than what it is.
And it's still raining. It was raining over the weekend and still raining rain throughout today. And of course, this is the second overtime period, Coach, and they'll kick off to us once again.
We've got to penetrate inside their 20-yard line to win the ball game.
And there were a lot of people in the stands. Of course, what do we know? Talking about why we receiving, why not kick, and hold Griffin. But I think Steve put it in perspective, said we need the football because we need to move it and not wait on them to make the mistake.
In remembering, I think we won the toss in the first half and decided to receive it for that reason. So in the second half, well, I can't remember now. It was their decision in the second half, and they forced us to handle the football.
Okay, here we are in the second overtime. We need something to happen. We move the football, as you can see. Durham Brewer again on the sweep wide to the left side, to the wide side of the field. And we need something big to happen to us. We've got our backs to the wall, and of course you don't play but 5 minutes, and that's not a lot. And all of a sudden, here it comes.
Second or third and 1, quarterback sneak, and Deshaun just realizing that he didn't get hit right off the bat. I think we're going to see a replay of it. Just kept driving. The linemen stayed on their feet and kept moving. And it's just when you don't give up on anything and you maintain your confidence and always are trying your hardest. You never know what's going to happen. And we always feel like good things will happen when you give it all that you've got, and sometimes even play better than your best.
And it just comes out of the pack here. It just comes right out of that pack. And boy, when he sees that daylight, he really turns. He's right in the middle of that quagmire.
I don't see how he's running that fast in that stuff. I don't see how he's getting any footing.
And then he hits some good turf right here, Coach.
He makes his move to the outside of the hash mark. Trey Baldwin accelerating downfield to try to help him out. If nothing else, just give him moral support. Right here, 2 hands on the football. He's not going to let that Griffin guy strip the ball from his hand, and he just leans forward and goes into the end zone.
And we go for 2. Go for 2 points, and I think Deshaun slipped and fell here.
Just slipped and fell down and just
tried to cut. And we didn't make the 2 points, but we're up 12-6, and it's not over yet. As Griffin is going to try to throw the football. We saw him do it late in the regulation time and come down the field and score and tie it up. So it's not over by any means. And that was a great play right there. I remember that was Andre Griffin. He took out 2 players, the blocker and the runner.
We go to just a pure passing defense here where we back everybody off except for our Jerry Smith and Julian Blackman. He throws the ball deep, and Jimmy McCamey and Tracy Ward are right there, and Jimmy McCamey makes a great interception.